Okay. So I can see it. Oh, hope it's working.
Yeah.
Oh, God's people. Welcome to Methodist Church and Good Shepherd Lutherans joint Lenten devotion.
Woohoo!
2021. We made it. So every week you will get the video or the booklet to go through, and each week we talk about different emotions. I think that's what it is. Pastor, can you explain a little more about it?
Yeah. So you can either gather your own resources or you can pick up from either of our church buildings. You will get or find of your own a pot of some sort. So you
That's
can
small.
find a jar.
Can I make bigger one? Can I use a bigger one?
You can use a bigger one, but then you'll need more dirt. So
okay.
You can use a decorative one, or just you could cut up a plastic container and put some holes in it. But you'll need a pot. You'll need some dirt, and then you'll need a seed. And so if you pick it up here, you'll get zinnias, which are really pretty flowers.
If it blooms.
Yeah, if it blooms. It's supposed to take 5 to 10 days, and you should get a sprout. So we'll see how that works. But you won't need the seeds for a while, so you have time to pick out those.
And you can try the one you're eating.
Yeah, and then you will need our Lenten devotional packet.
If you can get, and that will be on the website,
yep.
So that you check us at the bulletin and newsletters. That's the place you can look at, and then we will post in our website. So.
Yep. So you can either pick those up or you can get them yourself. And those will have, for each week, you will get a devotion that has our theme, a little talk about the theme, the activity, and then a prayer. And that goes every week. And then on Easter week, so the week between Palm or Passion Sunday and Easter week, Holy Week, you get a whole bunch of reflections.
Special.
So you get extra ones that week. And so you may know that normally we start Lent with Ash Wednesday, and you get smudged with a bunch of ashes.
Yeah, which I don't care for.
Right, which, yeah.
I had a skin reaction in the past.
Well, and also, they're messy. But normally we get those to remind us of our mortality, and that is our traditional start. But as you know, usually Pastor Miho or I would, touch you and put a cross on you, and the CDC says we're not supposed to touch people.
Well, 6 feet. My arm is long, but I think it's not enough.
Yeah, mine's only 3 feet, and mine are a lot longer than yours.
Oh, you don't know. I'm pretty long, but the other part is last year we did not have palm to burn it.
Right.
We did not. I mean, by the time by the Palm Sunday we are locked down, so we did not have palm. So palm is nice to have it, the reminder, but we can do something else. So that's where the pastor can come up with.
Yeah.
Thanks, God.
Yeah. So, because we're not touching you and we're not giving you caustic ashes, because ashes, if you mix them the wrong way, you end up with a skin reaction, and so we didn't want to have anybody having that. So we thought, well, dirt's a lot easier to play with.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more accessible. So.
Yeah, and that's we go back to earth.
Right.
So that theme is actually exactly what we really are mentioning in Ash Wednesday. So that actually goes pretty good.
Yeah, because if you think about it, in our Genesis story, we were shaped together out of the dirt.
Yep.
And in most of our cultures, we end up buried back in the dirt. And so, we think that is also a symbolic reminder. And so each week during our Lenten time, we will be filling up our pot with dirt. And as you'll see when we do ours, also with our emotions and our prayers. And so we'll do that together each week. Each week we will have a different emotion that we feature. Because Pastor Miho and I were thinking, we have a lot of emotions right now after coming out of 2020. And 2021 did not miraculously get a whole lot better on January 1st.
And we still carry those with us.
Yeah, and And also, because we can't gather together, we haven't necessarily had a good way to handle those as a group together, to talk about our emotions, to grieve together, to be angry together, to hug each other even. And so we wanted to explicitly acknowledge all of those emotions that we carry with us during our Lenten practice.
So we'll see. I mean, this is hands-on spiritual practice that I would call, and it is really how honest we can put together and lead those to God. Hopefully this is something helpful journey and we journey together.
Yep.
So what is we are doing today? The first one.
Anger!
That's plenty!
I am angry because it is frigid outside and snowy and there's way too much snow on the ground.
Where did you grow up?
Columbus, Ohio. It was a lot warmer down there.
Seriously?
Yes.
Ohio is cold.
Yes, but I lived in the middle of the state, not on the lake. And so we'd get snow, and then a few days later it'd be gone. This is ridiculous.
So
This
that,
snow's not going to be gone till like June.
or something like that. Yeah, I have heard that people, my member is telling me Thanksgiving to May or something that we have those things out there.
Yeah.
So we have plenty of anger. We don't need to really think so hard. It's there. Good topic. So how we deal with the anger, what we are doing with it, what Bible story about anger we can hear about today.
Habakkuk.
Who is it?
Habakkuk.
Where is it? Is that you read in the Bible or are you making up?
No, it's in here. You have to go to the way back of the Old Testament. This is going to help a lot. He's right after Nahum.
Uh-huh.
And right before Zephaniah. So now you know
Who?
exactly where we're at, right?
Who? Just look at the index and I'll be good.
Yeah. Just look it up in the.
But make sure to go to Old Testament.
Well, yeah, and just to show you, like, this is the end of the Old Testament right there.
Oh, so towards really end.
Yeah, we're way back at the end here.
Okay, so who is this Habakkuk guy?
I don't know. Who do you? He's a prophet.
That's as long as we know. Good enough.
Yes. And he was he one of the 8th century ones? I forgot to look him up.
Might be, I read about all those
Let's see,
the minor prophets, and I read, and I really liked it. I took the note about it, and my note is at home. I don't know.
Yeah, and of course this Bible doesn't have the cheats.
Yeah.
Anyway, prophet in Israel.
That's enough.
Yes, and he's quite mad. That's why we picked him. He is not afraid to say what he thinks. And express his complaint. And so we will be reading pieces and parts of Habakkuk's complaint here.
Mm-hmm.
You're invited to read the whole story, and we'll try to get more information about who he is out there. I should have done my homework.
That's okay.
Bad pastor. All right. Here we go. Shall we begin?
Yeah.
We're going to do chapter 1, verses 2 to 4. Then we're going to skip to chapter 2, 1 through 8, 3, 1, and then 17 to 19. So we're kind of picking so that you kind of get his overall argument. But again, if you're reading this at home, it's not a very long book. It's
How many
only
chapters?
3 chapters.
Oh,
So
not bad.
yeah, so you're welcome to read the whole thing as you do it. That's kind of your bonus option.
Ooh.
So yeah. All right. So let's begin. This is Habakkuk starting chapter 1, verse 2. Oh Lord, how long shall I cry for help, and you will not listen? Or cry to you violence, and you will not save? Why do you make me see wrongdoing and look at trouble? Destruction and violence are before me. Strife and contention arise. So the law becomes slack, and justice never prevails. The wicked surround the righteous. Therefore, judgment comes forth perverted. We're going to skip ahead to 2:1. I will stand at my watchpost and station myself on the rampart. I will keep watch to see what he will say to me and what he will answer concerning my complaint. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so that a runner may read it. For there is still a vision for the appointed time. It speaks of the end and does not lie. If it seems to tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. Look at the proud. Their spirit is not right in them, but the righteous live by their faith. Moreover, wealth is treacherous. The arrogant do not endure. They open their throats wide as Sheol. Like death, they never have enough. They gather all nations for themselves and collect all peoples as their own. Shall not everyone taunt such people and with mocking riddles say to them, alas for you who heap up what is not your own? How long will you load yourselves with goods taken in pledge? Will not your own creditors suddenly rise, and those who make you tremble wake up? Then you will be booty for them. Because you have plundered many nations, all that survive of the peoples shall plunder you. Because of human bloodshed and violence to the earth, to cities and all who live in them. And skipping down to 3, yeah.
Hey.
A prayer of the prophet Habakkuk, according to Shinganoah. And we're going to skip down to the very end of his prayer. Though the fig tree does not blossom, and no fruit is on the vines, though the produce of the olive fails, and the fields yield no food, though the flock is cut off from the fold, and there is no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will exult in the God of my salvation. God the Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer, and makes me tread upon the heights. And a note to the leader to use stringed instruments with that.
Oh, you have to sing it.
Mm.
Wow.
All right. We have a motion light in here, so if you see the flickering, that's why.
Oh, it's not just a God spirit coming
No,
down
it's
and
like,
changing the lights
I'm
around.
not saying that's my word for sure.
So I need to move around a little bit to keep the lights on. That was funny. Interesting.
Yeah. Clearly a lot going on in Habakkuk's day. A lot of just pain that, he's sick of it, which I'm sure many of us are at that point too, and just like, how long?
Yeah, how long? Are we done with this pandemic, or?
Yeah.
It's like, or that we hear about those news about the gun violence, which we keep talking and it's still going, and that's another cry of how long.
Yeah, how long? And there's so many things like that in our world, like, all of our political strife and just our discontent and, how long? And so I think that's a common cry of just, why isn't God fixing this yet?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've seen anger really increasing lately. At the beginning of the pandemic, we were all kind of like, oh, we can get through this together. We'll do this together.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll come together for it. And a year later, we're all like, all right, enough's enough.
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah.
The first few months it was okay. There, we could do anything for a couple of months. But by the time it's getting to a whole year.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And we are still in here.
Yeah. And so I that anger, ooh, I tell you.
It's kind of, we're like, we can do this part, and then it's getting longer than what we anticipated. It goes like, disappointing.
Yeah, because I remember back last year, we were hopeful we'd be back in full, like, Easter celebration.
Yeah, or I was thinking by fall, like summertime,
Yeah.
planning something, okay, we'll go back those things, like, oh, no, it's not really hot.
Yeah.
And it's getting worse. It's
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah. And it's just like this feeling of, okay, God, where are you?
Uh-huh.
Where are you at?
Uh-huh.
Why aren't you here? And, it could getting mad about, getting mad at everybody around us.
Uh-huh.
You know, I hear people, well, if people would just wear their masks,
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
get that,
yeah,
or,
yeah.
if people would just stop being so afraid and just get out and live, so we start getting mad at each other and we want to beat each other up, and then we start getting mad at all of our government officials. Well, why didn't the president, or why didn't the governor, or why didn't,
it's their fault.
or why did they,
Yeah.
So we want to attack everybody and
whatever we can find.
Yeah, and so it's just that incredible anger because there's nothing we can do.
Uh-huh. Exactly. I think you just hit exactly what it is. When we get so angry because there's nothing, we just feel so helpless.
Yeah.
And powerless. And that part of the reaction, one of the reaction is it's like just angry at something which is probably not can do anything about that, that anger, and it didn't do anything either, but it's just so frustrated, and it's like I can't hold it anymore inside.
Yeah.
And I need to explode or express in some ways, and sometimes it's a form of anger.
And I think, like the not being able to do anything because our mortality, like we're limited,
Yeah.
There's a limit to we're dirt, There's only so much we can do.
Yeah, and also I hear the story of, somebody who was so healthy and COVID-19, that virus, and some did not make it.
Yeah.
And that part is like, was it preventable? And all those emotions comes there, and grieving families get hungry. It makes sense.
Yeah. I also like, though, how Habakkuk heard a word from God that said, and you can sense it in his prayer at the end. He's like, even though everything's a mess now, I trust God, and so that sense of it may not be going like I want, but I know it's going to go. And so, for Habakkuk to hear that word from God. And if you also look, what he was mad about, Habakkuk was mad about, was all things that were going on in his society. And his anger allowed him to address those directly and not be just content to let them sit and stay. And so he would call out, the people of his time and say, you cannot do this, and seeing that justice will come around. It may be a long time. It may not look like I think it's going to look, but it's going to come. And so we need to start acting right, and not accept what's going on around us. So I think there is, and I wrote this a little bit. If you read our little thing here, there's good uses for anger too. I think a lot of times we try to avoid anger.
Yeah, because anger is the negative feeling. You should not have it. You should be angry at somebody and so forth. But, Habakkuk was very angry.
Yeah, very, very angry, and that helped through his anger. Habakkuk was able to find God because he heard that response even in his anger. He began with a yell at God. Oh Lord, how long? Where are you? That was how he began. And yet he ends with, no matter what, you are my God. So it was through his anger that he was able to come to God.
And I think it's the interesting part is that, he did not hesitate. He knew that he had the confidence to express this to God. It's okay. I'm so angry at you, God. And that is like really the strong statement that sometimes there's a sense of like, well, those are not good things. We have to always praising God. But more the mixture of our relationship with God are more mixture of more like raw emotions that which not everyone can take it, but the God takes it, and God hears it, and God answers it. I saw that part it's very interesting, and there's a sense that Habakkuk expressed all the anger, and then God speak. God spoke back to him, and it's. I think that's interesting, and that's probably why at the end of the prayer, things seems totally chaotic, totally the mess, totally unjust, totally nothing going right in Habakkuk's view. But still, he could trust that my God, our God, is the one who will bring justice and who will be with us in this so much angry time. It's a statement of faith, and so that is very strong and powerful. But that good guy, it's fun. I'm a third generation complainer in my house. So that, sometimes it's like, complaining not good things, blah, 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 but God's people did it. The prophet who God chose did it. It's okay. It's okay to express, to just sit with where we are at, because God will hear and God will take. That's what I see in Habakkuk, that assurance of God hears, whether it is politically correct or whether it sounds nice or polite or impolite, God still hears and centers us back to God's presence to us. Make it sounds nice, right? Let's do the activities.
Okay. So, we designed our booklet so that you will have half a page that doesn't have anything on it, and I'm just gonna, and so on that half page, which I'm just
or if you are at home, you have any just scrap paper, just get your scrap paper.
Yep, and so you just need a page. I'm just gonna tear these up. What I'm gonna do is put these in the bottom so that we have a little bit of
what
to keep it from getting our dirt.
What do I need to do now?
I'm just gonna stick a little bit in the bottom
so
to
that
keep our dirt from coming through.
Oh, you did it for me. Thank you.
Yeah. But then, so you could do that if you want, or if you have one of those nice little trays to put under it, you could do that. That's probably all right. So on our piece of paper, I remembered not to rip up the one that had our info on it.
The white part.
What we do is we have a series of questions for us to think about, and then we're going to write our responses on the blank half of paper or on your scrap paper, and then you're the only one that's going to see this, so you can be as honest as you want with God about what you're angry about. So here are some of the questions to kind of help you think.
Okay.
Is there anger that is festering inside, eating away at you? So what's eating at you?
Oh, it's not answering the question.
Ah,
I wrote a big yes out there. That's not right. Okay,
of course, yes.
Okay,
yeah,
what's
you
next?
need to put what you're doing. Okay, is there anger that could be channeled for change? So maybe there's anger that will lead you to something. So name and claim that anger, then write or draw it on the blank half of this page. Pray for God to help you release and channel that anger so that it becomes a force of change for good rather than a source of destruction. Spend as much time as you need. So we'll just
name or draw our anger in a sheet of paper. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I should. Yeah.
What?
No! I saw your snowman. I'm like, I want that too.
What? So we'll share something. You don't need to. If you want to share it too with your friends, you're good, and we'll share what we come up with. How about that? You want to go ahead?
Sure. So I have bunches of squiggles on mine because that to me is just like, you know, you can't even channel.
Oh, you cannot really put in the wording either.
Yeah. So I had that, and then I just had words like being disrupted, exhausted, hurt, tired, lonely, out of control. So all of that. And then I saw your snowman. I'm like, snow!
Yeah. So that's see, I went with like we are taping this in the morning. My brain not functioning, so that I go with vocabulary is not there, so it's kind of drawing off the things like cold, seriously cold. I was freezing, so it's like that's really not make me happy at all, and it's on, and that makes I see those accidents happening with this cold weather, and I mean it's so scary. Some places it's icy. Our place it's just too cold, so it's not really icy anymore. But some places are ice storm and the icy, and people are getting, and that's like, it's really sad because the people's lives there, people that's a family and the friends there. So it's such a scary experience. So that the snow is like one of the things. Another one that drew was like the two people just yelling at each other with so much. But issue is not those things, but we quarrel each other so much now, and people are not doing my way, and everyone's trying to find this is the right way, and nobody knows what the right way is right now, and that kind of things makes me angry. So those who are sick, it's supposed to be the thermostat.
Oh, thermostat, yeah.
For those who are crying, or the food, food distribution, which is really not fair.
Yeah.
Those parts, because as we know that we have enough food to feed people, but food are not there to the people who need, and there's a lot of waste of the food also going around because the distributions, we are still working on it. So that kind of things makes my heart pain. Yeah. So those are the things. And of course, that's when you're asking the question about is that give the channel the energy to other way? Question mark. I'm not sure about it. But that's what I am at right today. So that's what I'm on. So what we do with this?
Well, I kind of then taken all of that, and then I thought of like fire and flood, which are incredibly destructive forces, but they also create a space for new. So if you think of like a forest fire, as soon as the fire goes through, you have new life that starts to spring about. And there are some places in the world, like along the Nile Valley, where that annual flooding of the river is what makes the land fertile. So as destructive as they are, there is potential that comes out of it. And I know that's really hard to say to folks around here who had like the entire, Pearl City's entire downtown is gone because of flooding, right? So I know how destructive things are. But my hope, my prayer is that healing would come out of that. And so that was my prayer.
But it's interesting because you brought up that one. So this morning I was watching the PBS show. There's a foreign guy for some reason that goes around Japan cycling. Like that's the show about it. And I don't care about the guys cycling, but that's, I'm Japanese. So then when I see that show and I see the food and the sceneries, it's like, or I learned about the Japan, which the place I've never been in Japan and not know. It's kind of like I fun to watch that show, and this morning that was about Sendai, where how many years now? So 10 years now. The earthquake and tsunami hit the town. I mean, they're still missing people, still not found. That place. That's what the town they're traveling. The guy was traveling, and that was probably That show was old, but 7 years from that tsunami and earthquake, they're shooting that area, and that people who really survived lost friends, lost houses, lost family members. Um, but they're showing that's how they are trying to live from that. And one guy who was a salt maker for I don't know how many generations, he was saying that kind of earthquake, the severe earthquake happened every 1,000 years or so in Japan. That and then that town being 7,000 years existence, so that my ancestors has gone through those things, so that we 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 will go through this, and we can't give up. We have to just diligently working day after day, and that kind of the guy was talking about it. That I mean, you've seen the image of cowards floating with the tsunami. I mean, and tsunami comes in very quick. I mean, they give the warning, but it's really. I mean, it's not a joke. I mean, we practice for drills to be escape as much as possible, go in a high place, and I mean, it's real, and it's the devastation. It's totally suddenly came and then wipes whole stuff out, including lives of the people. And but when I was watching the show and think about that, what you're just talking about, that disaster is really the disaster, tragedy, could not happen to anybody. When it happens, God is here. When it happens, somehow God comes down, or the help of the people emerge from there. I mean, that kind of the story that you're hearing, it's not totally the back it was. It's a new life. It's a different way of life. But the life goes to trying to pass it on to the next generation. So it's kind of like you came down there and just thought of that, the show I just watched this morning.
All right. So our next step of our activity is really good for anger.
Okay.
We get to rip this paper up into tiny little pieces.
Oh, you mean like this? I can't think about this. I think I can't go any further. My hands are not. Oh, look! Snowflake. Oh, okay, I made a mess. Hold on. What do I need now?
All right, and then we take all of our little pieces of anger, and we'll toss them in our pot.
Oh. Just a second, I made a mess.
Go away, Snow.
I think you are making a mess too.
Oh, probably.
Oh, one piece left.
I might get some of your anger.
Oh, you're getting some of
mine.
Adding to
Here you
it,
have
mixing
some of
the
mine.
anger now. And
All
then
right.
what?
And then we'll take dirt and we'll
Just pour it over her.
over. Here, I'll give you some dirt too.
Thank you. Oh, you got a bag of.
I got a whole bag of dirt.
Careful,
There you
careful.
go.
Don't
There's
drop
your-
the stuff. Sorry, just put in there.
Yeah, so you just,
Shake. So there was.
all right.
Okay. And what will you do next?
All right. Our reminder is that God hears our cries. So God knows all that anger that we just buried down in there.
Because God hears the Habakkuk.
Right.
So God hears ours too.
Yes.
Cool.
All right. Then we have a prayer to close us. And this comes from Psalm 5.
Okay.
Give ear to my words, O Lord. Give heed to my sighing. Listen to the sound of my cry, my King and my God, for to you I pray. O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I plead my case to you and watch. For you are not a God who delights in wickedness. Evil will not sojourn with you. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me. Give ear to my words, O Lord. Give heed to my sighing. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you. So what we are doing next week? What's the theme we are working on?
I don't know, you have it. Oh, grieving.
Grieving. All right, that sounds something, and hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next